Welcome to the Midlife Crisis. So, why do men cheat? Admittedly, I'm going to do a bit of a bait and switch because I simultaneously love and hate that question. Why men cheat? Why do people cheat? I believe women cheat just as much as men do. I actually believe women are better at it. It's a lot less to hide, but we'll get into that, perhaps at another time. But here's where this comes from. I was doing some thinking, and I oftentimes marvel at how powerful the mind absolutely is. There's been studies online. You can probably find some videos online of, people that'll go to Safeway and buy two cakes, one circular, one rectangular, and they'll label one, $500, and they'll label the other one $15, and they'll have people line up to taste it, and everybody tastes that $500 cake, and it's like, oh my God, it's the greatest cake in the world, and it's so moist and flavorful, and blah blah blah. And then they taste a $15 cake, and it's like, you can tell this is a $15 cake. I mean, it's so dry and it's brittle, and look, the icing is of a lower quality, and it's amazing because you'll have chefs that'll be like, oh my God, I've studied at such and such a culinary school for 15,000 years, and you can definitely tell that they use the freshest flour that money can buy, and the eggs from royal hens, and blah blah. They say all of this shit, and then at the end of it, it's like, hey, these are the same cakes. We bought them from Safeway 5 minutes ago. They're both $15, and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe that. It's crazy. It's crazy how the mind works. If you one of my favorite brands, Fossil watches. Fossil used to be like this up and coming watch company. The most expensive Fossil watch was like $120 back in the day. But I found out that Fossil actually makes watches for a lot of name brand people, Michael Kors and things like that. But when you put that Michael Kors on that watch, all of a sudden it's a $500 watch. But if you say it's a Fossil watch, all people shitting on you. Oh, you wearing a Fossil watch, or blah 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 blah. Now Fossil watches are $300-400 themselves because the brand has gotten a little bit more notoriety, and all of a sudden people now think, or people have realized now what I've always known. It's always been a quality watch. It just didn't have a big name associated with it. So the mind is a powerful thing. This applies to cheating. This applies to relationships. On both sides of it, your mind works in those ways to make you think certain things about the relationship. When you have a good person at home, a good spouse, you see that spouse 24/7. You see that spouse at their best, you see that spouse at their worst. So it starts to get mundane, it starts to get repetitive, and you start to think about things that you probably wouldn't be thinking about with your side piece. You start thinking about how your husband annoys you with how much he talks, or how much your wife nags you about fixing X, Y, and Z. You start to pick apart everything that they wear. I hate that outfit that she puts on, or I hate when he wears those shoes. Like, you start to see that every day in your relationship, and it starts to get boring. Going out isn't an exciting thing. Flag that word. Going out isn't an exciting thing anymore. It's just something to do. It's Friday. Y'all both sitting in the house. Y'all bored, not doing anything. Hey, babe, you want to go out? Yeah, all right. Where you want to go? I don't know. We can go somewhere. And it becomes that. Versus when you have a side piece. Versus when you have, somebody that you're dealing with that you're not supposed to be dealing with. Your mind plays that trick. Everything becomes instantly better. I said flag that word. It's exciting. Because you're not supposed to be doing it. You could get caught doing it. So that excitement adds a level of intensity to the situation that you don't necessarily get in your regular relationship. Come back to that. The sex is better because it's forbidden. It's not something that you're supposed to be having. So even though he might be stroking the same way as your husband strokes, or even though she might be popping it the same way your wife pops it, it's more exciting because it's forbidden. You're not supposed to be having it. We always want what we can't have. You don't realize it, but that person is showing you their best all the time, quote unquote, all the time. You're not with them all the time. They know that they're only going to see you at work. They know that they're only going to see you when you stop past the post office, on your way to drop off a letter. They know that they only have that small window of your attention, so they maximize that attention. She's going to make sure she puts on the outfit that's tightest, that shows off the best parts of her body, and that she is smelling like Cinnabons in the morning. He's going to make sure that he did 50 push-ups before you walk past him, just so his chest is popping out of his shirt. And he probably put on a shirt that was a little bit too small, just so you can see all of the muscles and shit like that. Like, your side piece is maximizing these small opportunities, but in your mind, you say, damn, she look good all the time. He be on point all the time, and that's not the case. That's not the case, because you don't see them all the time, but you tell yourself that story, and that's the thing. When you all go out, when you go out with your side piece, because you know you're not supposed to, because you know you can get caught, because you know you might not be able to do this all the time. Sorry, there's a whole bunch of potholes out here. But because you know that you're not going to be able to do all of that all the time, you make the most of it. Y'all don't talk about no bullshit. Y'all don't talk about how your boss is getting on your nerves, and even if you do, your boss could have fired you that day. You still don't give a fuck, because you out with your side piece. God damn, babe, I got fired. Oh my God, baby, I'm so sorry. What you gonna do? I don't know, but if you give me some kisses, everything will be all right. You start doing that dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? But when you talk about it with your spouse, it's like, damn, man, my boss fired me today. Oh, baby, what's going on? Why you ain't never supportive? Why you don't never be on? You always be on my back, baby. All I ask is what we gonna do. I don't care. You ain't saying it right. Like, you do dumb shit when it's the person that you're with 24/7, but with the person that you're not with 24/7, you treat them like queens. So again, it's a mind thing, and then that's when it hit me. Why do people cheat? We're looking for that endorphin rush. We're looking for that high. We're looking for that distraction that takes us away from our everyday life and puts us in this fantasy world that we're pretty much creating, where this person is beautiful 24/7, where this person always knows exactly what I want and how I want it, where this person is so much better. They have so many of the qualities that I don't have at home. But it's not true, because you're only seeing this person for a small amount of time. You're only seeing the best that this person has to offer, and you're putting so much mentally into this image of this individual that it's not real. When that person leaves you, they go home and fart. They go home and put a bonnet on and some old ass sweatpants that make them feel comfortable. They don't smell like that all the time. They don't work out like that all the time. And even if they do, it's not the way that, they don't dress like that all the time. They did that to come see you. They did that because they knew that they were going to see you. And therein lies the secret. We don't put as much effort in the relationships that we have at home that we do in the side relationships. And that is the challenge for everybody. That is the answer to why people cheat and the solution to stop cheating. Put that same effort into the relationship at home. Like, really analyze it. What are you really doing? What are you looking for? Are you looking for that excitement? Is it exciting for her to put on some clothes and you don't know how she's going to look, so when you open the door, you're surprised? Okay, if that's the thing, do that with your mate. Do that with your mate. Hey, babe, you know what? I want to go out, but I don't want to see you before we go out. I'm going to go over to my boy's house and I'm going to get dressed, and I'm going to come here and I'm going to knock on the door at about 7, 8 o'clock. You meet me and you be ready at that time. So that you don't have that boring regular behavior of seeing her take a shower and get out and slap some lotion on and all that other good stuff. You don't see him cutting his hair and trimming his beard and all that other nonsense. Nah, I'm going to go over here, I'm going to get ready, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to pick you up. Like, recreate that in your own relationship. Is it the crazy sex? Is it like, oh my God, when you cheating and you doing some shit you ain't supposed to do? Oh, you have adventures. You go out and fuck in the wildest spots because you're just looking for a place to fuck. You're looking for a place to get out there and do whatever you can do that you can't do at home. Do it at home. Hey, babe, guess what? We're not going to the bedroom at 7:15 on a Wednesday every week like we normally do. I'm tired of that. That's getting real boring to me, and it's not exciting no more. What I want to do is we're going to take a ride, and wherever we start feeling it is when we feel it. If you say, babe, pull over, I'm pulling over. If we're in traffic and I want to, lean over and do some things and, so on and so forth, then I'm going to lean over and do them things. But bring that back to your relationship. If it's the conversation piece. Like I said, you don't talk to your side piece about no bullshit because y'all ain't got that much time. You make those conversations pointed. Like you research shit to talk about with your side piece all day. You can't wait to have these conversations with your side piece. Reinvest that in your relationship. Hey babe, I want to be supportive of you, and I know you had probably had a bad day at work, but every day that's all we talk about is your bad day. I don't want to talk about your bad day today. What I want to talk about is something fun, something happy. I know it may sound like I'm being insensitive, but I'm not. I'm trying to actually enrich the relationship. Let's not talk about our problems and our bills and, all of the stuff that we need to take care of as adults right now. Let's not do that. Let's actually go on a date and not talk about any of that shit. Let's not talk about how bad the kids are. Let's not talk about how, we got to pay money for this or how the stove is broke and we got to do that. Let's not do any of that. Let's talk about some happy shit. If you didn't know me and you were trying to get to know me, what's some questions that you would ask me? Let's go back to that too. Because once you've been with somebody for so long, things start to change. And that's exciting as well. When you're getting to know somebody new, when you're trying to figure out if you all have some things in common. Oh my God. Oh, you like the movies? I like the movies too. What kind of movies you like? Oh, I like the Marvel movies. They used to be better back in the day, but I still fuck with them a little bit. Cool. I like Marvel movies too. I like horror movies. I don't like horror movies too much, but I'm willing to, to test it out. If I can spend some more time with you, do that shit with your spouse. She like watching Real Housewives, and you can't stand that shit. However, if it was your side piece, you'd watch that shit just to spend some more time with her. You'd watch that shit just so you could distract her from it and run your hand up her thigh and start doing some nasty stuff to her to distract her from that show. You do it. So if you do it for your side piece, do it for her. If you ain't interested in a basketball game or whatever, goddamn well you don't know basketball from football. But if he's into it, you're gonna do it. But what you're gonna do? You're gonna wear that outfit to the point where he ain't watching that basketball no more. All he doing is keeping his eyes on you. So do that for your spouse. He wanna watch the game, watch the game. But go upstairs and put on something cute and sexy and all of that shit. Let's treat our spouses the way that we would treat our side pieces. And let's be honest about why we're looking for a side piece in the first place. If you're bored in your relationship, say that. Now, gotta be careful. Because, man or woman, that can be a hurtful, that's a delicate conversation to have. I'll say it like that. So you gotta be very careful with the way that you approach it, but approach it. And be honest about it. Hey, babe, you know what? I feel like I can't talk to you about the stuff that we used to talk about when we started. At first, this has happened to me in relationships before. At first, I'd meet a girl and we'll talk about a strip club back when I was doing that thing back in the day. I'm like, I talk about strip clubs and girls be like, fine, we can go to the strip club together. It'll be fun. We do this, we do that, so on and so forth. As soon as you start dealing with them for a while, as soon as they start catching feelings, all of a sudden the strip club is a problem. All of a sudden, why are you thinking about going to the strip club? All of a sudden they get self-conscious. All of a sudden they get in their feelings. We need to address that. Hey, babe, I used to like the freedom of being able to talk to you about these types of things. What's changed? Oh, what changed is I started developing feelings. I get that. And what can I do to reassure you that I'm not trying to do anything with anyone else? I'm not trying to go anywhere. But I still want that freedom to be able to talk to you. That's one of the things that attracted me to you in the first place. So if you need some more confidence or some more reassurance that I'm going to be here and that I'm not going anywhere and that a strip club is just a strip club, cool. But let's get back to the way we used to. I want you to come with me to the strip club so you can see I'm not doing anything out, mixing up my words. I'm not doing anything, off the wall, or I'm not doing anything too crazy. I just want to go and, that's, it kind of turns me on. It's a little kinky and I want to be turned on for you and with you. However that comes across, I'm not saying that'll work. Please don't go home and say that exact shit. Somebody is going to get killed and I don't want that to be my fault. But like I said, at the same time, understand, we need to be able to have these conversations and be real about it so that we're not out here looking and entertaining, people that might want to break up our happy homes. And believe me, they're out there. And believe me, in today's time, it ain't even a hidden thing. People will come right out and be like, oh yeah, we cheat, we can cheat. Damn, bitch, you got somebody at home. You don't want to be faithful or nothing like that. I got somebody at home. You don't even give a fuck. Goddamn. But it's out there. So again, it's one of those things where we need to, before it even gets to the point where you're even tempted, you need to really do a real assessment of what's happening. And you really need to take some accountability for what's going on. If I would be willing, and I'm not saying me, but just in general, if I would be willing to make sure I'm working out perfectly groomed and shaved, and you know what I'm saying, I got my muscles popping, and I'm picking my outfit out meticulously for the side piece that I'm trying to pull, I should be doing that same thing, if not more, for the person that I already have at home. And women, same thing. I ain't talking about wearing a waist trainer. And let me say this, public service announcement. If you have a waist trainer, it's time for you to do some crunches. If you have a waist trainer, it's time for you to look at your diet and see if you can make some adjustments. That's just point blank period. If you're willing to tie your stomach up so you can look slimmer, you need to do some things to be slimmer. Obviously, you see the problem. Don't get mad at some man who called you fat. You know, and men, y'all, we wear waist trainers too, so let me rephrase that. Don't be mad at people who call you fat. If you recognize that your ass has gone on to Amazon and clicked that button to have a waist trainer delivered to you via Amazon Prime, it's time for your ass to hit the floor and do some crunches. But I digress. My point is, if you're willing to work out and get yourself in shape or whatever for your side piece, do it for your spouse. You know, I hear people all the time being motivated. Oh, I'm going on vacation. I need to have my body looking right. Well, what's so important about the vacation that you're not doing it in your everyday life? You know, and then why is that a point of low self-confidence if you're worried that your mate, your spouse, or anything like that is going to be looking at somebody else's body because you're not motivated to get your body in shape unless you're going on vacation? Let's think about that. You know, you don't want to look bad in a bathing suit, so you all of a sudden start doing these push-ups and going to the gym. Well, why weren't you doing the push-ups and going to the gym before? You weren't looking good in a bathing suit before. It shouldn't be about the vacation. It should be, number one, when it comes to that specifically, it should be about your health, period. But behind that, if you have a spouse at home, it should be about you looking the best that you can for your spouse. Let's get out of that mindset that they need to accept me for me. You're still you. You're just in the shape you. You're still being accepted. Doesn't mean I like it. I just accept it. So let's get out of that mindset. That's an empty argument from now on, people. Let's make that a thing. That's an empty argument. You need to accept me for me. Babe, I do accept you for you. But it doesn't mean you're looking your best. And part of me accepting you for you is loving you enough to tell you that to your face. So let's not, you know, make it a thing of, oh, I'm going on vacation. I need to eat right. I need to work out. I need to go to the gym. No. I'm going home to somebody that loves me. I need to eat right. I need to work out. I need to go to the gym. That's man or woman. That's not a sexist statement. That's a real statement for everybody. And I think on that note, I'll end it.